Hi, I'm David. Welcome to a Talk About. I'm reviewing The Legend of Luke, which is a book of the Redwall series by Brian Jacques. This is a very good Redwall book, especially if you're into the Redwall series. I definitely highly recommend it. It's basically about Martin the Warrior, and who sets off on a journey from Redwall to find out what happened to his father, Luke the Warrior. He doesn't really know much about it, and so he doesn't really know anything at all. That actually doesn't really know what happened after vague memories. He remembers of it, and to find out his story. And if he's there in the north, and so then basically that's the first portion of the book. It's split into three basically. That's the first portion. The middle portion is about his father Luke the Warrior and his story. And then the third section of the book is about Martin the Warrior again. So it's split into three different sections, and you kind of got these two different stories basically going on. Martin's story and his father's story, and then Martin's stories again with the continuation of Martin's story. And so it's definitely a really good book, and you should really definitely check it out. So it starts basically with the hedgehog Trimp, who basically is found near Redwall and she's a rover and ends up coming to Redwall. And she, during her short stay there, she ends up telling a story about Luke, the warrior, Martin's father. And when Martin hears about it, he kind of keeps thinking about a lot about it and wants to kind of know what happened to his father. And he's kind of very quiet in Redwall, which is not really his thing. He's not paying attention to others, and he just really wants to know what happened to his father. Obviously his life has been sort of turmoil. So many things have happened. It was ripped up, and you find out, if you read Maxwell and Martin the Warrior, there's so many things that have happened to this point. And by the way, if you haven't, stop now and go read those two books before you come to this story. I really think you should probably definitely read those first. They're the first two books of Martin's life, his story. Start with Maxwell and then Martin the Warrior. And so he hears, and he really wants to know what happened. Of course, his father. He doesn't really know. He remembers various vague memories, but he really wants to know what happened to him, if he's maybe still there in the north. And so he ends up getting her to take him to the north, and he goes there along with his good old friend Gumph the Mouse Thief, a favorite of mine, and Dinny the Mole, and they all four of them go and they leave on this big journey. Their journey is very dangerous along the way to the north, and they meet basically there's vermin and different kinds of birds. Basically every single day something happens to them, and they come across a squirrel named Chugger to help save, who's an orphan, and others like Fulgrin, an otter, and Firmo, a shrew, Log, and he of his shrew company. And so they gather a lot of people, a lot of creatures along the way, good creatures, and they come across a lot of bad creatures along the way, and their adventure takes them along a river, through Mossflower, along a river, up the coast of the ocean, all the way up to the north, the caves of Martin's old family history, long years and years ago. In this book, the food highlight is really the shrew food, which is really brought out. And in general, I think the shrew's foods are pretty good in general in the Redwall book. But he just really, this is really the food he brings out through this whole story is extra good. The shrew's food, and I really like how he explains a lot of it. And when they get to the north, you'll find that Martin doesn't know much, because he was very young again. And so he, I think, has very vague memories of what his father looks like. And obviously, he got his sword from his father, but he was, very, very young, so he doesn't remember much. He might kind of have recollection of what the caves kind of look like, his home, but it's kind of, it's very, very far off. And his whole life happened after that point. At the caves, they meet his father's, Luke's, old best friend, Verge, who then takes them to these tall rocks where half of this great big red ship has been lodged, and it becomes their home. It's him, a bunch of old old friends of Luke's from the past, Verge, so Beau the hare, and two mice, Deno and Dulam. And so they tell the story that had unfolded so many years ago with his father. So basically, Luke comes to the north with a bunch of other creatures looking for peace, which is kind of funny and ironic for Redwall, because if you do all the Redwall books, the north is definitely a cold and really harsh land to live. And everybody that comes from there is used to like fighting and not peace whatsoever. And so, but basically, the south, where he comes from, also has a lot of the dead south, further south than the Redwall, obviously, and is basically where a lot of plenty's there. So basically, a lot of the villains do end up down the south to get food and plenty there they can take. And basically, the north is harsh because it's basically not much up there. And so it's really hard to live up there, and so anybody's gonna come and take, and so it becomes very dangerous, especially when evil villains come up that way towards the good creatures. And so basically, a stout captain named Villa Dascar comes with this big red, huge fortress-like red ship, biggest and epicest big ship in all Redwall. Really, this huge ship comes, a huge red ship. He called it Gorlich, and ends up coming to this area, and they're not very aware of that ships like this come. They think it's a peaceful area in the north. And so while Luke's away, they're attacked and they die. And so he comes back and seeks revenge. And so he kind of plans. And he ends up taking this small villain ship and kind of traps them and takes that. And they call that the Sena, after his wife. And so they head off after in search of the big red ship, Gorlich, for revenge, which had left a long while back. Which, I mean, obviously is not really the greatest plan out there. They go after such a big vessel compared to their small little vessel. I mean, I get the reason though, because basically, I mean, he wants the revenge for what happened at the caves, and so he just kind of goes after that. To seek that. So basically this tale becomes a sea pirate adventure, and which the bad creatures, the pirates, are called sea rogues in this book. And they I really think the life aboard the vessels are really cool, and Father really brings that to life. I like how he's able to do that basically anywhere in the Redwall world, so obviously not just Redwall Abbey, how he brings you to this book, the story. And so they're out on the ocean, out in the sea, on their vessel, and they come across many islands along the way that are out. They find out there in the ocean, and they meet Beau, a hare, on one of the islands who's a castaway. And I like his island. It's kind of like in his resourcefulness there, and they meet they come across a lot of other islands and interesting adventures. Eventually, the red ship basically traps them, and something happens, and so they basically become slaves. And from then on, and another squirrel named Rangavar is captured along the way as their slaves, which is a very fierce fighter creature. And so basically now it becomes a life aboard this vessel, which is so cool how he brings this to life. Just like this vessel, I like how he brings all the parts to life. Decks, what's going on for creatures, and basically the slave master, Wolflay, who's this evil creature, and of course the captain, and Daskar, and basically how this all unfolds to the end of this part of the story. So basically, he finds out, and Martin feels kind of in a sense fulfilled. He knows what happened to his father. I mean, obviously it's not completely a great thing, but he finds out, and he can now go back to Redwall Abbey, and he takes the old creatures with him, as well as other creatures along the way, many other ones. And this whole trip back, I really like, because a lot of stories and a lot of books don't do this that well, where it's basically the story happened and then they head back, and including Redwall's other Redwall books too. And this one, there's actually a story to go back, and as they go back, and a whole kind of a small adventure as they go back, and what happens with that. And they end up back at Redwall Abbey, and Redwall Abbey is completed, and so throughout this whole book, it's just basically the completion of building Redwall Abbey, which is another cool thing that happens throughout the book. My two favorite characters in this book is Bo and Gump the Mouse Thief, which are basically, they have their own, both from two different separate portions of the story, the two different stories that go on. And I really thought that first, Gump the Mouse Thief from other books is this hilarious, ridiculous mouse who likes to steals things, and a lot of good humor, and likes to eat. And then Bo also likes to eat, and I really like Bo's life on the islands and how he makes kind of makes light of everything. He's a good cook, and the way the story he brings life to the story and what he brings to the story. And then there is Dinny the mole, who's a really good friend to Martin, and Trimp the hedgehog, who basically obviously brings this whole story about, and she kind of grows along the way, I find. And Martin the warrior finds his life, and if you really want to know more about Martin the warrior, I would say definitely read Mossflower and Martin the warrior books. They basically tell a lot of who becomes who he is as a warrior of Redwall, and so he's this creature that everybody basically looks up to, and he really does earn his role and throughout this book as well. And there are other creatures in the story, Luke, for instance, who really looks a lot like Martin, and is very similar in a lot of ways. Though he has a different life, a different adventure at sea, and really sacrifices for the ones he loves, and of course his friends, Verge, Deno, and Dulam, who basically are really good sea mates, and really want, it's the same thing that Luke really wants, and in the story. The real main villain of the story, though there's many others throughout the story, especially with Martin the warrior's side of the story, but the main part, especially with Luke's side, and really the driving force, kind of the big bad villain of the story, is the Villa Daskar, a stout captain who's he rules because of basically the ship he has, so there's power with it, and he rules with fear to his crew members, and then he has fear to others because of the huge ship he has, and really the ship really brings in his might and power over everything. This is really the completion of Martin's story. If you want to really know what happens at the end of his life and film it with Redwall Abbey, how he became a warrior obviously happened before, and how basically Redwall Abbey, the ends of Redwall Abbey and his sword, and the legend he is, though that is developed in other books, but this is the ending of all that, and you find out a lot about the different mysteries and history. It connects a lot with other books, which I really like. This red ship, the Gore Leech in this story, really brings a lot of memories back to me from when I was younger. I did a lot with this. I built this huge Lego ship when I was young even, and I really, reading this book really brings back memories, because I actually copied every part of it, all different decks, up to the top, and different sections, and when it's the front, and really how everything, the way it was built. I built this Lego ship, and it was really, I remember having a lot of fun with that, because I really liked the ship. And so, if you haven't read this book, I really urge you to read it just for that reason alone. How he just brings that to life, and how really the biggest, epicest ship at sea. And so yeah, that brought back a lot of really fond memories of into the adventure with that ship. I personally thought the middle section of this book, the part about Luke the Warrior, could have been a little longer because I really enjoyed it so much. It was done so well. It did work out. It did make sense though. The middle section completely made sense. It ended well, and it really showed a complete story of it. Though I just wanted more of it. And basically, it was told. When they told the story, it wasn't told as if they were telling it or reading it or whatever. It was told like the regular, like every book in Redwall series is. It was told as if it was a story that was happening, like Martin the Warrior's story was happening at the same time. And I mean, though my favorite was the middle section, I would have to say that the Martin the Warrior's part of the story made a lot of sense. It brought it all together, and I did like that part of it. And there were some things that added to the Redwall series through knowledge, and it was good. The adventure was really great. Yeah, for this book, just to tie everything in. But I really, again, liked The Legend of Luke Part, which is the name of the book, named after the middle section. And I really liked that part. Don't forget the audiobook. Redwall audiobooks are always really awesome and great from all the series, so go check that out, as well as this book. I hope you liked this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe to see more videos like this. I plan on doing more in the future, as well, the rest of the series actually, as well as other books I plan on reviewing, and other topics hopefully in the future. And so please go check out my channel I talk about and to see more. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time.